Yeah.
Great. I just can't see anything over here though. It's all blank. Hmm. Wait, all those viewers, can anybody comment something if you can hear us? Hey, there we are. We look really stupid. Anyway, uh, hello everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Fairly Odd Talk Show. Now, from the name itself, it could have been quite apparent what we do over here. It's just odd stuff. We just talk about random things. That's what we're going to do over here. And the beauty of talking about random stuff is that there is no limit. There's nothing stopping you from talking about just about any random stupid thing. To be honest, like when we were discussing the topic for like what we're going to be talking about on the first episode, we had this quite animated discussion about if you were a sausage, would you eat yourself? Would that be considered to be cannibalism? And a whole lot of theories behind that. It was a lot of fun conversation. A lot of things went behind this, and yeah. But here we are. And let me introduce myself. I'm Aditya Anil. I'm a third-year CSE student, and I'm barely human, though I look like one. There we go. Please introduce yourself, all the others.
Hi, I'm Aryan. I'm a second year CSE student, and that's all you probably need to know about me.
Hello everyone, my name is Jyotika and I'm also a second year CSE student.
Preetal.
Hi everyone, I'm Preetal Shah and I'm also a second year ECM student.
That's wonderful. So here we are, and we actually had quite a debate on what to talk about today. Wait, guys, did we choose anything to talk about today?
Hopefully we did.
Wait, let me just check things out. 1 second. Oh yeah,
giving our viewers a heart attack.
I mean, isn't that okay? I'm not going to comment about that. So yeah, let's talk about something that like this topic that we came across. That is something that everybody has an opinion about. Like literally everybody has an opinion about this. No matter how old you are, if you're dead, somebody probably had an opinion about this and wrote it down, and you could read it. That's how prevalent this topic is. So the topic is our generation the best generation there ever was? Is really the older generation so bad? Or are we actually a terrible generation, and with every generation, things are just going downhill? People are just losing their values, and it's just absolute horrible stuff. So yeah, let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah, I think I don't think we're the best generation, and I even don't think that we're the worst generation. Like it's usually this phenomenon with every generation that the generation after them, like who come after them, they're usually way worse off and have zero life experience or anything, and the generations that precede them have all the worldly wisdom of the entire universe in them. But I mean, it's just a matter of context and who you ask, basically.
Exactly, like every generation has its pros and cons. So to even we can't really declare a final winner that this is the best generation. Thus, that is exactly our topic of discussion today. We're going to be discussing how each generation is good in its own way, and will we find a best generation by the end of the show? Let's see.
Maybe not. Anyway, let's start by setting down some guidelines, because I know exactly guidelines, but we'll just like throw in the meanings of some of the terms we'll be just throwing around. I guess everybody knows that, for example, Gen Z means people who were born after 1995, and then you can give the rest.
Yeah, and well, before Gen Z, there was Gen Y, so the quote-unquote millennials, they're between the ages of 25 and 39 right now. So whenever somebody says that millennials have ruined everything, they're usually talking about Gen Z and not millennials, because they're way older than us. And I think the rest of us can talk about Gen X and baby boomers.
Yeah, so before that, we have the Gen X generation. So these are the people who will be around 40 to 55 years old right now. This is basically the age of our parents usually. And before that, we have baby boomers who are around 56 to 74. So that's the Gen Z or something. So these are the generations that we'll be talking about in our show this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just to lay some precedent so that you can at least follow along what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's get the boring stuff out of the way now. Let's get to the crux of things. Okay, is it just me, or are boomers annoyed at every single thing that we do? Like every single thing, every single new trend. I mean, okay, I agree that I'm not a huge fan of most of the new trends or something that happens these days. I mean, for example, what the hell was the Tide Pod challenge? Kids were eating detergent. What in the world? Eating detergent? How is that even a thing?
I think boomers are generally like, quite critical of the way the younger generations do things. It's usually just pent up frustration most of the time, but it just comes out there as advice. Like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that because we didn't do this. Besides the Tide Pause thing, that's just plain idiocracy.
I mean, boomers in general are not really accepting of change as such, because in their time they find it that their generation was completely different from us. They have no idea what's going on, and they're pretty structured and disciplined. So when it comes to all these millennial trends, the boomers just like to stay out of it. That's how it is always.
I think, honestly thinking, it's just a matter of our ideologies. Since our generation especially is so evolved and it has like so much exposure and everything, that's why we especially think that the generation that didn't have that is probably more conservative and does not open up to new ideas. So yeah.
That is very true. Yeah, go on, Aryan.
No, sure, go ahead, please.
Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. That's like they just I mean, I understand not being into the new generation. I mean, some of the things that we do is pretty stupid. And to be honest, when I realized that I'm actually part of Gen Z and not a millennial, it was more of a shocking revelation. I mean, I was quite disappointed, to be honest. But yeah, the thing is, like, if you don't like a trend, I mean, don't join it. You don't have to really complain about it all the time, or rather judge the entire generation because of that one single thing that you like to do. But the funny thing is, like, if you were talking about trends, do you remember all the crazy things that were popular back in the day? Do you remember what was that? Some of the weird things. Yes, denim everything. I mean, yes, it looks cool, but then in some cases it's just so weird. The randomest of things were made of denim. Do you remember that trend, like from the 1970s and all that?
Yeah, ironically, denim was actually made. Like, denim jeans were made for people who used to work in mines, basically in California. So they wanted some material which is tough or something. And the general disdain that boomers have for like other people who are lower up on the socioeconomic class for them, and them wearing everything denim is just ironic to me.
I know. The world is built upon irony, if you ask me.
I was seriously not aware of this trend, honestly. Am I too Gen Z? Because I wasn't even aware of such a trend. Like, I'm getting to know about it right now.
You're not old school enough.
Gen Z. Yeah.
You're not old school enough.
Exactly.
I mean, if we're talking about generations, we could just start about all the 90s kids stuff, like all the cartoons and all the shows, all the nostalgia connected to it. Like, if you were born in 2000, like say you were born on January 1st, 2000, you will not get what happened in 1999, December 30. July, August, September, October. Yeah, I don't remember if December was 30 or 31 days. Anyway, you won't get the whatever happened in 1991, 31 days. Yeah, December 31st, 1991. You won't understand it because that's the 90s kids memes, everything. So that's another thing.
You automatically just get separated from it, even though you're just born a day after 1999.
Exactly. And the funny part is, like, all of us had the same childhood. Like, if we were 1999 or 2000, it's basically the same thing. You get to experience all the same stuff. 1 year doesn't change anything.
Because I think India, in that regard, received everything way later than the contemporary world, basically. So 90s for us was just 2008. It wasn't 1999.
True, yeah. Actually, yeah, if you think about it, it was in the late 2000s, early 2010s that we started getting all the things that were cool outside and that was so prevalent outside.
this, I was actually thinking, like he said, like the 90s for us Indians probably was the 2008. I was thinking, how do you think like the technological advancements have changed from like generation to generation? How do you think it has changed? Anyone can answer.
Obviously it has improved. Like, we literally grew up through the internet revolution per se. It just started. It was popular when we were kids, but then we got to grow with technology. We used those keypad, old school Nokia 3310s. We used the flip phones. Then we started to get using the touchscreen, like iPhones and the first smartphones, and when laptops started becoming really popular and really powerful, and the advent of flat screen TVs. Like, there's so many things that you could talk about. We literally grew up. Yeah. No, please go.
Yeah. Our generation has seen it all, basically.
Exactly.
Well, internet, to start off with, it has been connecting like one person to other person, no matter where the person is staying. I think that's the biggest, the biggest evolution that has come in our age, especially because this wasn't even a thing in like baby boomers or millennials, I guess, in their generation. So yeah, isn't this such a big like globalization happening just because of internet?
Exactly. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It has completely changed how we view the world per se. Like, just think about this. What do you think are the repercussions of the internet on us? Like, I'm not talking about all the, oh my god, you're gonna ruin your eyes, blah blah blah, all that shit. But like, what do you think is an actual repercussion or something that has really changed our lives other than connecting with people, like in the way we grow up or the way we see the world?
Yeah, bad eyesight aside, like the internet, it's led to the advancements of lots of industries that did not even exist before it. Like, even think of Amazon. Amazon can be classified as the poster child of e-commerce, basically, and they've disrupted everything from retail to tech stores to everything. You think of it, you can buy it on Amazon, and you dream of it at night, you'll have it in the morning. One day delivery. So if you think of it like that, like in the economic sense of it, it's a complete disruptor in that space. Like, it's changed everything for the better or for the worse, however you may look at it. And even on a personal level, like, you're able to connect with different people, but you're also able to see a lot more people. Besides your little hutment or village, you never looked outside of that. That was your society, that was your life. You grew up, you had kids, you died. That's how it ended. Now you're a little too aware of what's outside.
That's true. Real question though. Like, we grew up with the internet, right? So we had the internet in a later part of our life. So where did you learn most of your the things and about the world? Like, not just about the world, like core values per se. What is right and what's wrong? Other than the basic stuff that your parents taught you, like, did you learn it from your parents or did you learn it from the internet? Because I'm a person who, I feel like a lot of my later development, I got from the internet because I got to see so much more of the world and so many points of view and like meet so many different people and talk to so many different types of opinions and things like that. So according to you, like, what do you feel like? Also, the audience, please tell us, like, where do you think you got most of your emotional development at? I'm not talking about like talking to people in real life, but like, did internet play a huge role in your life, or were you the old school, yes, it's just my parents and my family and maybe my friends, that kind of thing? Or like, did you read and did you watch videos and did you contact people over the internet, and did that play any part in your upbringing or like the development of you as a person? Let us know in the comments. So tell me about you guys.
I feel like we do get most of our core values from like our parents, like, the basic, what's right, what's wrong. But internet does play a really important part. It's because you become more self-aware. You get a lot of exposure to a lot of different kinds of people out there and what's happening in different countries. You're just so much more aware of all the big changes happening around in the world. And that actually kind of stimulates your brain development to say, you also know a lot of things and then you research upon them if you find it interesting, and it just adds to your, wide array of knowledge. And I feel like without internet, it just feels like you're in a closed off shelter. And I feel this internet thing is like very advantageous to our generation for sure. But again, like I said, I feel like the core values are definitely instilled at least by your family members, or at least, the people you surround yourself with.
I mean, again, talking about globalization and exposure, these are like the biggest thing that our generation is, facing. Especially as if we compare the baby boomers or millennials or their time, like it is totally our generation. So obviously, internet actually plays a huge role. But then, yeah, talking about the basic moral values, that's all about like family or friends or stuff like that. So yeah,
That's true. Quite true. Oh, I mean, yeah, we've been talking about the internet. That is a thing. I mean, it does open up your perspective and something like that. But again, delving into the topic of how children were raised, or like how we were raised by our parents, and how the new generation is being brought up compared to how they were back in the day. Like, if you remember, they would literally kick the kids out and be like, you know what, do whatever. I don't care. Just be back before dinner. That kind of seemed like the thing, And if you watch all these movies, I know it's an exaggeration in the movies. Like, yeah, you don't need to tell me that, but these kids were getting into some really crazy stuff. I mean, they were meeting a lot of different people. Like, nobody was controlling them per se. They just did whatever they wanted, and they literally got exposed to the world from a very young age. But now it's like you have to tell your parents at least 5 business days before where you're planning to go, and even then you might not get approval. They'll be like, give me the names of each and every person you're meeting, and also then
you're understanding your pain.
Yeah.
We're understanding your pain.
Yeah, growing up with strict parents, it's it's fun. Yeah, totally. Everybody will tell you that. It's very fun.
Yeah, I think like say boomers or Gen X or Gen Y, their parents would just leave them alone completely unsupervised. And I mean, you can look what happened to them. But nowadays, the parents are just way too involved, like over involved in their childhood. Basically, they're like vicariously living their lives through the kid. Like the kid has to learn how to play the guitar. He should know how to do taekwondo. He should be like master at chess, and he should start programming in grade 6. And everything on the under the surface of the sun, they should be able to do that. I think that it's gone to the complete polar opposite of that. Like before, they were completely unsupervised. Like you can take the medieval example of Spartans or something. Like they would just set their kid out at the age of 13, go for an exile. If you come back, you're a man. You can stay in the tribe. Otherwise, you're outcast from it. And now it's like, beta, send me your location, send me the number of your friends. What do they do? What do their parents do? So it's just overly critical now.
You were talking about.
No, please go on.
Yeah. Okay, no, go on.
People go on.
Okay. So, no, actually, I was just adding to that point is that as we move on from generation to generation, it feels like parents have become more and more overprotective of their children. And again, it's kind of a byproduct of globalization, at least what I think, because of the whole internet and the whole globalization, you really are aware of even the crime rates increasing and the crimes taking place. So I think that is like, that is like a factor for why parents are so overprotective of their children. Before, they didn't know exactly what's happening around in their neighborhood, and that's why they were like, okay, kids, you can go out, you can come back later in the evening, just make sure you're home for dinner. But now it is scary because you face the realities, you actually read about stuff, and so parents are definitely worried about their children's safety. And so that's what I feel why they're overly involved as such. Now you can go on, Jyotika.
Yeah. According to me, I think even in like the previous generations and everything, people were more so like concerned and just involved with their family and their relatives and just like mostly their neighborhood. You can see like everyone had joint families, like 14 to 20 people in like a same, like living under the same roof. But now as the families are, just evolving into nuclear families, and people are more so just becoming, their person and involving with their type of people. So I think that's also a reason why, the parents are more so just concerned about their children's well-being, because the children are actually just talking and involving with different sort of people, not just their family or relatives. So yeah, that's the reason. That could be one.
You like talked about people having nuclear families and everything. Now, for some part of me, I think that's a good thing, because the influence of family used to be way too much before. Like, it would actually be, instead of being overbearing, it would be intrusive in your life. Like, all decisions of yours would have to go through everybody, every member of the family, and only then would they be approved, and you would be the ideal son or daughter or whatever.
I
And
know, right?
now, yeah, now it's at least it's better in terms of personal liberty. At least you can do whatever you want whenever you want. You're only answerable to yourself. You make your own money, but that's also atomized people a lot more. Like, even though we're connected, say, through the internet to people like billions of kilometers away from you, but you're more atomized. You're more secluded in your own tiny apartment. You only get out for food, water, and everything. Besides that, there is nothing. There is no social interaction. The only social interaction that happens is virtually, basically.
That is kind of true. And not just that, but how's it going? Yeah. Like one point that I got from like you guys discussing right now is that we have more personal independence right now. Like back in the day, you would not be regarded as a person. I mean, you always had to go through everybody. Like you had to listen to everybody, and the whole point was if you pay for yourself, then yes, you're your own person. But other than else, you do not have any rights. You do not have your own thoughts or opinion. And the thing is, like as a kid, even if you give a valid opinion, they would not listen to it just because you were a kid, even though you have your own valid reasons. But no, you would not be heard. You would not be. Your voice would be just crushed down because you're a kid. You don't really know much, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, voicing your opinion is just automatically converted to disrespect. Like this guy is way too much world exposure. Put him back.
I can't count the number of times I've had to deal with that.
Everyone has had to deal with that. You give your opinion and then suddenly it feels like you're talking too much. So you're sent to your room. That's it. That's the end of conversation there.
I know. And I believe it was especially worse for women as well. Like even if you were old enough, they wouldn't just let you. I mean, even if you have an opinion, they wouldn't care because, again, you're a woman, like back in the day. Do you have any thoughts about that, both of you?
Again, I feel like that's, changed from generation to generation. I mean, as you can see, there are a lot of feminists right now, and there's a lot of movements happening. Actually, not exactly feminism, more like equality for genders, equality in different fields for women and men. And I feel like that is a big change because when you think about the baby boomer generation or even the Gen X, there was still a lot of places in the world where women were not able to get even the basic rights, and they were still treated, as the lesser of the two genders. And right now, actually, in this generation, a lot of women are stepping out in different fields, and that is definitely a big achievement, which I would definitely want to give to, the late Gen Y or the Gen Z people, is that they really have taken this up as a, major issue.
That's true. And the best part is that it's not just about women or men now. Like every single gender is getting representation. I mean, yes, there are some people who are going crazy about it, and there are people, getting too hypersensitive or like just going
overly politically correct.
Yeah, overly politically correct. Yeah, that's a good term. Yeah, and even though that's all there, it's still very heartening to see that all these people are taking a stance, and everybody's getting recognition, and everybody is getting a voice. And that's actually wonderful. Yeah. And in that regard, I believe our generation is the best generation so far. I'm obviously sure that so far. I mean, obviously, the next generation is going to be better than, hopefully it's going to be better than us if there's a next generation. I mean, global warming, we're all probably going to die someday. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this over here. It could be too sad or depressing, but yeah, but still, in general, we are looking for a brighter tomorrow, at least in terms of people being more accepting and more honest with themselves and with society, and the world is being a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, we were talking about all these serious topics and things like that, but okay, I'm pretty sure all of you watched cartoons, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, yeah.
Definitely.
The 90s
Absolutely.
90s cartoons in 2010.
Yes, yes, absolutely. What do you guys think about the cartoons? Like, I do have my own opinion, but what do you think? Like, how has the cartoons evolved from, like, say, the millennial era, then our era, like the early Gen Z, like early '90s, late '90s, and right now?
In my opinion, like the cartoons back then used to be better. Like even the ones that aired way before even I was born. Because even if you look at them now, you can get some sort of value out of them. Like they would slide in some, adult humor, some jokes about reality, some pessimistic observation about life as a whole into to this thing, some cackle by a Bugs Bunny or something. And I feel that's missing nowadays because they're trying to just streamline everything, make it politically correct so that no one gets offended. Like Warner Bros nowadays have to put a warning before Looney Tunes that these were thoughts portrayed back in the day. So, and none of the members of this organization share those thoughts anymore. So it was a different time back then. I feel that's just a cop out to the new this thing, moral police as you can call it. Even in cartoons, the most innocent of all mediums of expression.
I know it is rather sad. Oh well, but then wait, what was that? I think it was Warner Brothers themselves, right, who put out the statement that they're not gonna edit previous cartoons for racial, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
racism in cartoons as well, right? And there's a lot of
There's a lot of
blackfacing.
isms just subtly over there in the cartoons.
Yeah, yeah, but then Brothers said that they're not going to remove it from the cartoons because even though it's wrong, it gives you a proper representation of what the timeline was like back in the day, and like these were the norm. And so they're like, this is a representation of what the time was, and we want people to know that it was that bad at one time and to appreciate how much better it have gotten. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to change it because we want people to know. It was Warner Brothers themselves, right? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think they put out a statement, but it wasn't to retain any sort of creative integrity or historical preservation or something. It's just to make money. Capitalism makes the entire world go round.
I mean, that's true. I mean,
It's just to save themselves from a lawsuit. It's not to preserve historical acts of racism just hidden into cartoons.
sure. Actually, on that note, you know the huge companies have been like putting out on a lot of stuff, right? For example, on LGBT, like on during Pride Month, a lot of companies come forward showing their support and like huge ad campaigns and everything.
Yeah.
So obviously, most of these companies are just doing it for the money. Like it's all about capitalism. Most of them. Yeah, but then, do you think that's bad?
Well, I myself am a firm believer of capitalism, the good kind where, if you have a product and there's buyers for it, you can sell it. And if you have the best product at the lowest possible price, then people are ready to buy it. But I mean, people just attach a political agenda to things so that they can rally some emotions in people. But the eventual end goal is just the bottom line of the company. It's not a political motivation.
I mean, yeah, true. No, because I mean, it's a cliche saying. Obviously, large corporations do not care about you. All they care about is the money. But then, yeah, again, as you said, I feel like it's it's good that they're doing it because even though it's going to get them a lot of profits and everything, it still brings a lot of light to the topic at hand. It like these companies obviously have huge reach. Yeah.
So it's good advertising in a sense, actually, isn't it? I mean, whether the motive is capitalism or not, at least that issue is being, shown to the masses and it's getting advertised in the proper sense. So, even if people are thinking about the company but when they come to know that, okay, this company had endorsed this particular thing or they were, rallying for this movement, they'll actually want to know more about that. And then one thing leads to another. It's just more awareness for the movement. So I feel it's great advertising.
Somebody has a question in the live chat. He's asked,
Okay.
would the future generations be better than us?
Hope
Well,
so.
I think we glossed over it a little bit, but we can go into it.
We can hope that the future generation would be better than us, would probably learn from our mistakes and would try to rectify them. But yeah, it all comes down to we can hope for it.
There's
I
no
mean, it
guarantee.
seemingly is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that because, people are getting more and more exposed and like just, kind of accepting to all the types of like be that gender or be that any class of people or be that economy, anything. It does seem like it, but again, it all depends on our ideology. So we can't really say for sure, but it seems like it. I guess,
Yeah.
that would be it.
I feel for sure they would be smarter than us. Like kids nowadays, even age 4 or something, their parents just give them an iPad because they have to work 60 hours a week to even afford the iPad first of all. So once they do that, it just artificially bolsters their development. Like even 8-year-old kids, they would be way smarter than an 8-year-old kid 20 years back. So I don't know if that's good or if that's bad because there's sky high rates of depression and anxiety and all these mental disorders or mental health warnings sort of in kids aged 10 to 14 nowadays. So the society as a whole would be more accepting and more libertarian or liberal and accepting whatever other people have, but I mean there's shortfalls to it as well.
Oh, that's true. And also the thing is, I believe with every passing generation, kids mature sooner. Like they become adults way sooner. Like for example, if you think about our generation, the ideas that they're talking about, the point of view they have, the way they think, it's like years further, more mature than what the boomers were at our ages. And I believe the ones coming after us, they're going to be much more mature, like way more mature than us, like compared to us. So generally, yeah, the future generation does seem like a brighter place, as much as boomers and Gen X and millennials will. Gen X and millennials are the same, but yeah, as much as they would let us to believe that we are going in ruins, I do believe we do have a bright future. I mean, yeah, and also like our generation itself is so concerned about the environment, and like everybody's like caring about what they do, like how much plastic they buy or how much waste they generate. Like, yeah, there's a lot of people care about a lot of things. So yeah, to answer your question, I do believe we are looking for a brighter future, towards a brighter future.
Yeah, at least we can be somewhat optimistic about it.
True.
But I'm not sure about each generation being more mature than the previous ones. Like you could use a metric of being more socially responsible as being mature. But I think boomers were also more mature in their own way. Like by age 18, you were supposed to get a mortgage and get a house. By age 20, get married. So that's a different sort of responsibilities that are basically thrust upon you, willingly or not.
Yeah, but counterpoint, do you think they were ready for it though?
That's what I'm saying. Those responsibilities were thrust upon them.
Exactly, they were not ready for
to
it.
grow up.
Exactly.
They didn't choose.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually see that in many kids today. Okay.
A lot of broken households.
Yes, a lot of broken households. Here's another comment. The kids these days definitely have more knowledge than kids had then, but are they really smarter? Well, Tide Pods. Tide Pods.
Yeah, but I think that's just kids being kids. The kids in general are, not very risk averse or something, and they're just trying to figure out what is in and around them. And if there is some trend that pop culture is ready to get with, they'll hop on it. Like it could be Tide Pod, it could be Harlem Shake.
Don't endorse.
I think everybody remembers
Don't endorse Tide Pods.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Harlem Shake was fun, at least. I mean, it was not
Aryan was
harmful, except
fun.
for yeah. No, the thing is, like, I've heard a lot of old people like commenting about how stupid Harlem Shake is, and then we have
Hmm.
disco music from the 80s. What was that?
Tight pods by far I think are a lot tamer. Like boomers in general, I find them super hypocritical. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Don't drink too. All this. By 11, they were smoking like 3 cigarettes a day. Tobacco campaigns were not working back then. It was cool to smoke
Actually,
tobacco. Like
back then it was actually considered a healthy habit, you know.
yeah,
Seriously?
like we were talking about socially conscious ads. You remember that ad Marlboro Man?
Oh, no,
Clint
go on.
Eastwood used to smoke cigarettes.
Ah,
Clint
yeah.
Eastwood used to smoke Marlboro cigarettes, and everyone was a fan of it. 10-year-old kids to 50-year-old uncles.
Yeah, I know. That's just hilarious. Like actually back in the day, it was considered to be stylish, cool, and very. It was like a favorite pastime, you know.
Sophisticated.
Yeah, it was actually a mark of sophistication, smoking. Yeah, it's only much later people realized how harmful it is to your health, and the whole campaign and everything for that. But before that, it was just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
There's so many stupid things that they did. I mean, yeah, we're not bashing on boomers.
I mean, honestly,
Go on, please.
yeah. Have you guys like ever felt such like our generation trends or something are stupid? Like some of your friends might be following some trends or something, and you might have gone like, huh, that's a stupid trend in our generation as well. Have you guys ever felt that?
Yeah,
I mean, few of them are insane.
I know, especially all the
I felt that a
challenges.
couple of times.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying
Your
our
voice cut out.
generation. Whose?
Your voice cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay, so the thing is, definitely our generation has a lot of stupid trends. I mean, let's not even get started there. So we do a lot of stupid things. But the thing is, every generation does that. Every single generation. So boomers complaining or like millennials complaining about us doing stupid things is totally hypocritical. That's the thing. And it's okay
Every
to
generation
do
has its
Yeah, go on.
yeah, every generation has its own quirks actually. You can say that. Everyone is going to do some trends. There were some trends probably that we did not understand. That was back in the boomer generation. And at the same time, I feel like at least we're accepting of the fact, we say that, okay, it was probably outdated, but we understand that. The thing is, when it comes to the previous generation, they are pretty hypocritical when it comes to all the trends, of Gen Z. So I just feel like that openness should be there regarding trends belonging to different generations.
True. I mean, when was the last time like you could just sit down with an old person and be like, "Hey, isn't it so funny how different we are?" They'd be like, "No, you guys are a lost cause." That's
And you
probably
guys
what
are
you'll hear.
super entitled or something like that. I know.
think this would happen to us as well when you grow older. Like you can somehow realize that you're going older if you stop understanding the references of those kids. But after a certain
Exactly.
point of time, you will start to build up some resentments. Like, what is wrong with these kids? How are they so stupid? Like you've seen those memes where it says, "When I was your age, I was like when you were 18, I was 19." That super sense of superiority and wisdom is just so ingrained into them.
I know.
But
Just
I think it's a
imagine.
process of time, basically.
True, but then you just imagining yourself to be better than everybody else. That's just kind of stupid. Also, we have a very interesting question. On what topic the discussion is going on? That is a brilliant question, Yagya_3004, because yeah, we're kind of going off on a lot of different tangents. Same topic, it's like same circle, but a million different tangents. And another one, when will you consider a kid smart? Well, like smart can be defined in different ways. First of all, there's
Be a lot of different things.
yeah. I mean,
Whatever metric you find better, just use whatever you want. I mean, you can be smart in the practical sense that boomers would think you're like crazy smart. You can switch from one HDMI to the other. So whatever you feel is smart is, well, smart to you.
You
I
know,
know.
book smart,
there's
there's street smart, there's tech savvy people, and I think it completely depends on person to person how smart you perceive the other one.
True. And also there's emotional.
Then there's something called wisdom. I'm sorry, did I cut someone?
No, go on.
No, sure, go
Yeah.
Go on.
Then there's something called wisdom, which some people never even attain, honestly. So if you consider that as smartness, well, some people actually never even get there.
Well,
Very
there's
advertising, but sure, yeah.
no, they say wisdom comes with age. I kind of feel like that's something a boomer wrote up. I mean, it is.
Probably, yeah. Now that I
that's
think of it, that makes sense.
Yeah. The thing is, like, wisdom comes with experience, and we get to experience a lot of stuff before, we're exposed to a lot of things. We get to experience a lot of things, and again, through the internet, we get to understand and go through a lot of different people's experiences. So it is actually easier for us to gain wisdom than it was back in the day. So yeah, technically we could be a wiser generation, but are we is a question for an entirely another debate or a discussion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think we can conclude this that we can surely be optimistic for the future. And whatever that future may look like, post-apocalyptic, neon-looking cities aside, we can at least be more optimistic that people will be more accepting of other people and would likely see the other person at least as a human before even discrediting them completely. And yeah, I think we can be hopeful for it.
I think we can kind of let our viewers, have a takeaway from this discussion and actually think about who the best generation is, because I am sure that we haven't reached a firm conclusion. But, after this discussion, at least there's some clarity. So I guess it's all on the viewers' choice.
I don't even think there's clarity after this cultural rant we've been going on
we'll
for
just say like a
14
5% clarity.
I know. Oh, here's another question.
I think they're more confused with all the data they've been inundated with.
Yeah, I don't think we cleared anybody's confusion. We're just talking about stuff, to be honest. Do you think generations are consistent around the world? Does geography play a role here, or is it mostly based on age? Well,
I think geography would play a role.
It totally does.
I think geography, when it comes to geography, when it comes to geography, I feel like the only things which are varying is the traditional values, probably. I mean, the traditions of each person or family belonging to different countries. I think that's the only thing varies. But I feel like as a whole generation, the values are pretty much consistent, That's what I feel. I think across that way, it's very consistent.
Well, I would argue slightly differently because the thing is, like, our value, for example, say our core Indian values, they're not really individualistic, is it? Because we focus on, like, our values focus on doing good for the society, doing great things. But I'm not talking about like scriptures or anything. I'm just talking about our societal values. Our society is either focused on being the best at theirs, Sharma Ji Ka Beta jokes. Like, you've got to be the best, or else you have to do something really amazing, or you're not really worth it. There's also the whole point about how you don't get a say in things unless you are an actual earning member, or else, like, if you don't make your own money, then you don't have a say. It's things like that. But then I feel like in, say, Western countries or other societies and things like that, they are more of an individualistic approach, that they give more importance to the single person, and even from a young age they're taught about that. They're taught to think for themselves. And I mean, our country is improving as well, but like I feel like back in the day especially, even though like throughout the same generations, we were not exactly the same. Like, I guess there's a lot of difference depending on the core values that each society has. So I do believe geographically there's a lot of difference. But more so into our generation and future generations, the difference is going to be very less due to globalization and a lot of cultural discourse and a lot of things like that.
Yeah. I think we can conclude on that note.
Oh, yeah.
It's been 40.
We could. Yes, and also technology. Yes, that's a huge thing. Technology was like literally moving us forward, one way or the other. Just one small thing. Like, do you remember? I mean, you obviously have all of your parents just shouting at you, "Why are you on your phone all the time?" Or like, "Why are you on the computer all the time?" And all those things, right? Just tell them that back, and they probably also tell you to go read a book. I'm pretty sure all of your parents have done that at one point. Just tell them that back in the day when books started coming out, it faced the same criticism. People were as skeptic about books as they're about smartphones and all those things now. They were like, you're going to waste your life staring at a page. Like, go out. That's where everything happens. That's where the action happens. But now books are revered. They're this like unattainable standards. They're not unattainable, but like they're made out to be this amazing thing while phones are absolutely horrible. Which is not the case because both have their charm. But yeah, that's the thing. Like us humans, I feel like we're gonna be afraid of change. We're gonna be skeptical, and it might improve over the years. But for now, I don't think it's gonna change a lot. People are just gonna hate on everything that's new.
I think there's this human nature. We can't,
Change it.
out this thing, out of the system.
Yeah. Oh well.
I think
Staring
we're
at a
done
page.
for the day.
Absolutely. You're gone?
I think we're done for the day.
Oh, we are. Oh my God, we've been going on for a long time
Yeah,
now.
we had a 45-minute rant on how our current culture and society is way better than what it was 20 years back. And soon, 20 years into the future, someone else would also be having this discussion. So I think 45 minutes of that and listing various stats and facts is probably good enough for today.
Exactly. We don't want to bore the viewers way too much.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, hey guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. I mean, it's our this is our very first episode. I'm sure we'll get better over time, or we might not. I don't know. Come join us and watch and check it out. Yeah, and hopefully we'll focus on more interesting and fun things that are more relatable. I mean, I do think this is a very relatable topic because yeah, it's very frustrating to be honest. Just getting blamed for your generation all the time. But yeah, we'll try and talk about more interesting and fun things. But yeah, for now, this is it. Thank you very much for joining us.